Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good golly, Miss Molly. Welcome to the channel. Today, I had the great pleasure of going to see a movie, an actual movie in a cinema. Something that's been a bit of a rarity in the last few years, but it's the first movie this year that's been released that I've been able to see that of the ones that I'm really, really looking forward to. And this was the action spy thriller, if indeed that's strong enough a way of describing it, Pathaan, starring the wonderful Shah Rukh Khan, or SRK. Um, and I have to say that I was absolutely blown away. Now, I am not your average artistic critic who will pick apart a movie and so on. I'm there because I really enjoy it and I want to see it. And I thoroughly, thoroughly enjoyed this. In fact, Mrs. Rockfan went with me and she thoroughly enjoyed it too. The hurt that SRK and John Abraham were showing an awful lot of their assets. But then us gentlemen had Deepika Padukone as well to look at. But what a thrill ride, an absolute roller coaster. Now, for those in Western audiences that are not quite as aware of what this movie is and the background to it, it's part of the YRF, which spy universe. So produced by Aditya Chopra, directed by Siddhartha Anand, and Yash Raj Films, YRF. They've created this spy universe with now four movies, featuring the how could we put it, the agents of the RAW, R&W agents, so the research and analysis wing of the Indian intelligence, and the previous movies, which are all available widely on streaming for those who are interested in North America and Europe to watch. There's Ekta Tiger and Tigers in the High, both of which are superb movies starring Salman Khan. Then the third movie in the sequence, which was War, also set in that universe with no strong connection to the Tiger movies, but set in the same universe and the same organizations. And then that set up Pathaan, which is the fourth movie in to be set in the Raw universe, and that did bring together characters from the two Tiger movies and from War, and indeed sets the ground for more to come. So a little bit of background there. Check those movies out if you can. They're all excellent. As I say, they're all freely available. They're all available on streaming services, certainly in North America on Amazon Prime. So anyway, Pathaan released today, generally around the world. Shah Rukh Khan, possibly one of the biggest stars in the world, maybe the biggest star in the world, has had a sort of a break recently, and this is a storming comeback for him. Most recently, I did see him in that wonderful extended cameo in Brahmastra, which his character in that I would love to see more of. But here he's clearly been working out and working on making a spectacular comeback, and spectacular it was. And it was great to see him teamed up again with Deepika Padukone. Obviously, Om Shanti Om was an earlier movie they did together, and they really do work well together. And John Abraham, the antagonist in the movie, is a force to be reckoned with too. So, what can you say about this movie that? First of all, we're not talking about some kind of artistic sort of art house movie. This is full throttle entertainment, and I absolutely adore it for that. So it's absolutely full of energy. There is barely a moment to breathe between start and end of the movie, and that possibly could be seen as a slight negative in that you don't get a lot of time to draw breath with the action. Is Fast and Furious. It's set over a period of 2 or 3 years, and there are flashbacks and retro sequences till we get back to the present day where SRK is fighting the big bad. So there's a lot of explanation about how everybody gets to where they're going. Now, I'm going to try and avoid too many spoilers in this review. It is no secret that Salman Khan is making a cameo in it, and as you would expect, that cameo is the character of Tiger. I mean, I don't think that's really a spoiler per se. And the moment halfway through the movie when he appears, without going into too much detail, is a pretty fantastic and triumphant movie. And in fact, the first beginning of the movie and then that sequence was after an interval, if such a thing was to be had in the theatre. Here, they just went straight through, featured two of the greatest action fight scenes in the film at the beginning of the movie, and then at that period too. That one, the second one being set on a train, it's absolutely phenomenal. Uh, Without giving too much more away in terms of plot, John Abraham is a mercenary leading he's a former raw agent leading Outfit X, who are a mercenary group who he's not really owing allegiance to anybody in particular. SRK's Pathaan is a raw agent who's out to stop him, and Deepika Padukone's Rubina is who knows? Don't want to give too much away, although her introduction scenes earlier in the movie set in Spain, that part is pretty spectacular. And spectacular is a word you can really use a lot in this movie. It's brash, it's over the top, it's loud. If anything, it was a little too loud. Maybe I'm just getting old. It's non-stop action, absolutely thrilling. Obviously, you're going to scratch your head at times and say, well, that just isn't real. But this is what we want in an action movie. I mean, this is, if you took James Bond, Jason Bourne, Ethan Hunt, and John Wick and threw them all together and they had a child, it would be Pathaan. That's to give the Western equivalents. Obviously, looking at Tiger and Salman Khan, you're getting some good. If you've watched those Tiger movies, you get a good idea what you're going to get here in terms of action. It is brash and over the top. There is a very threatening scenario that the team have to fight. There is sequences on in various locations around the world and on various scenes where they're fighting in different ways. And again, I don't want to give too much away. It is also full of humor. There's some fantastic bone dry, funny lines, particularly between the two Khans when they're on screen together. It never gets boring. It's absolutely riveting. There was applause and cheers at the end. I think the action is so fierce in the first 2/3 of the movie that almost there's a little bit of a not fatigue at the end with the last third, but you're like, you know what? We've seen so much, we're exhausted. But it does have a satisfying conclusion. And with a number of scenes, don't leave too early when the credits begin, because there are a number of scenes also after those. So SRK and Topeka, their romance action between them is fantastic. I mean, they really do work together, and they look so good together. SRK is really playing up that romantic persona. And he's put it inside this unstoppable action hero, and it's just like he was born to do this kind of thing. He probably is the biggest star in the world today. He is absolutely fantastic. There's a lot of twists, a lot of turns. The narrative is one of the conflict between patriotism and service and betrayal, and And there's also the strong message, though, of various people working together from different backgrounds, if I want to put it that way. So, again, I do not want to give away too many spoilers. You can see some of the fantastic garb that Rubina is wearing when she Pathaan first seeks her out. The two male antagonist and protagonist, John Abraham, Shah Rukh Khan, who have some fierce face-offs. I absolutely adored it. The special effects are brilliant. The cinematography is fantastic, as you would expect. All I can say is I really think you should go and see this. If you love action movies with over the top action, hard physical fight scenes, a lot of technology at use, and various technology used or has to be used to do certain things, breaking into vaults and so on. It's really quite fascinating and thrilling stuff. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and this is a very off the cuff review, not scripted in any way. I'm just doing this right off the top of my head, but absolutely did adore this movie. A lot of fun. Definitely want to see it again in my own setup here at home next time. It was great to see it on the big screen. Pretty full audience. Although it was the first screening of the day in the cinema it was at. So hopefully that will continue through the next couple of weeks in the North American audience. I know it's going to be hugely successful in many parts of the world. So yeah, I absolutely thoroughly enjoyed it. I'll probably talk about it again in future, but there it is, the first movie of my anticipated ones of 2023, Pathaan. Top job by everybody, tons of fun and excitement. Can't recommend it highly enough. So anyway, hope you've enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again very soon. But till then, take care.